8:32 now, and Valentine's Day is exactly 1 week away, but we're wearing red today for another reason. The first Friday in February is the American Heart Association's National Wear Red Day, bringing awareness to women's heart health.
And here's why it is so important. Cardiovascular disease is the #1 killer of women. So nearly 45% of women over the age of 20 are living with some form of cardiovascular disease. Cardiovascular disease is the #1 killer of new moms and accounts for more than 1/3 of maternal deaths.
51% of women die from hypertension, the silent killer, and nearly 60% of all stroke deaths are in women.
And if we haven't gotten your attention yet, we've invited some ladies to help us out this morning, and they are a sisterhood of survivors. So let's welcome to the show Cristina Civetta, Sharon and Maddi Niebanck, and they are joined by Dr. Eugenia Gianos, the Director of Women's Heart Health at Lenox Hill Hospital. So good morning to all of you. We're so grateful to have you here.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
And Doctor, we'll start with you. Everyone's life is very stressful, but now it's really taking the lives of women. Can you talk about the importance of just being able to control your stress, because it does cause serious heart issues?
Absolutely, and I think these amazing survivors can probably attest to some of that. Stress in women can lead to some unique syndromes, even something called a stress-induced heart attack, some tearing of an artery, unique syndromes that are more common in women. But what can we do? How we react to stress is really the key issue. And women, unfortunately, historically take care of other people. They are the caretakers for others. We put our own lives last, but we can, by making it a non-negotiable thing, focus on our own heart health and also on things that will make us happy and have social support and things that will prevent heart disease.
And Dr. Gianos, how do you know if you have a healthy heart? Are there signs that women are missing here?
Absolutely. I think the signs of a heart attack are often not exactly what we think of the textbook man clutching his chest. That's what we think of. But it could be just a general feeling of being unwell, shortness of breath, pain in the jaw, even stomach upset. Anything unique for a woman is important for heart disease. And I think, as our survivors will want you to know, stroke symptoms are really important too. Weakness on one side, sudden imbalance, not being able to speak. These are things that you need to get checked out for immediately. You do not wait.
Yeah, education is so important. We want to get to your survivors that are here this morning. Again, thanks for being here. So happy that you are here. We'll start with you, Cristina, because you were actually born with a congenital heart disease. Can you talk about your journey?
Yeah, so I was born with heart disease at 16 hours old. They came into my mom's room and they were like, "We're sorry, your daughter's not going to make it."
Oh my God.
And they were able to put a shunt in my heart just to kind of like block and create blood flow. At 2 years old, I ended up having lacerates in the hospital, and because I ended up having tracheal fallout, and my mom was like, "Well, I'm not giving up on her," and she took me on a plane to the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, and I went from tarmac to operating table, which saved my life in under 6 hours. And I've had 7 heart surgeries since. I always say my pacemaker is my bonus because it was not part of the plan. But I had my last open heart surgery when I was 29, and it was the first time I had to write a will. It was like the first time I had to kind of like really deal with it in a different way. I dealt with it as a teenager, figuring out scars are warrior marks, not ugly, and they're beautiful,
Yes,
and
absolutely.
show them and share them, and I'm very proud of mine. But after that surgery, I said, if I come out of this, I'm gonna spend my life making a difference and helping raise awareness about women's heart health, and that, it's everyone. I was at the top of my game, producing music concerts all over the world.
Wow.
And doing, just amazing stuff. And my brother posted a picture of me in the hospital bed with all these things, and everyone was like, "No, she's totally fine. What are you talking about?" And so I'm so lucky. I got together with the AHA, and they have helped me bring my dream of bringing all of our survivor voices to the forefront so that everyone can understand heart disease affects everyone.
Yes.
So even though I'm congenital, I'll have more surgeries. And it's okay. I'm advocate for every woman, every friend around me, because as the doctor said, we're all, taking care of everyone else and putting our stress behind us. And
It's really important.
So I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, we're happy to have you here.
And of course, when this happens to you at any age, it's such a shock. And Sharon, you were in your mid-40s when you suffered a heart attack. You must have been caught off guard.
Way off guard. I have hypotropic cardiomyopathy. It went 47 years undetected.
Oh my gosh.
And so when I was at home, I had a heart attack. I didn't know I was having a heart attack. And one of the important things that I want to stress about heart attack, stroke, is prevention. And before prevention, know the signs. Because knowing the signs of a heart attack are extremely important. Not what somebody told you. Find out on your own. Go to American Heart Association, log in, find out heart attack symptoms, find out if you've had it, find out about your family's history. That is extremely important.
Very important.
Because I have 8 sisters and brothers, and it jumped over all of them and got me.
Wow.
So I was very, very fortunate. My surgery was done at Lenox Hill Hospital with a good doctor. She didn't do the surgery, but the team that she works with, they did the surgery, did a great job. I was so encouraged by what was done and learning from American Heart Association that I went on and I wanted to find out how I could get involved, and I became a volunteer since 2012, and I volunteer with American Heart Association, and the Go Red campaign, Go Red for Women, that's my baby right there.
Oh, that's
and I
wonderful.
definitely go red from head to toe.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I go red all the way. And my sister survivors, I love them and I love seeing them here.
Yeah.
And I want everyone to know it's extremely important. It's not what you think, it's what you know about a heart attack.
Exactly.
It can attack anyone at any time, any period. It doesn't make a difference. Heart disease is the #1 killer. Yep. And you have to know prevention and get out there and do the work.
And we want to make sure we can get to Maddi and her story. You were actually in the hospital already, right, when you suffered a stroke?
I had a stroke, yes. So I was in the hospital a week after I graduated from college. I went to Georgetown, and then I went in to remove a malformation in my brain, which I was born with.
Okay.
That I had known about since getting terrible migraines basically all throughout my childhood. And then essentially some preoperative procedures caused a blood clot, which burst when I was in the hospital. So I ended up having a massive stroke, and I'm rushed into an emergency operation. My surgeon had just left for the night. He had to come back. He told my family he didn't think I was going to make it, and it was not looking good. And then I woke up completely paralyzed on my left side. So my left and dominant side, arm, leg, face. I had trouble speaking and swallowing, all of it. So it's been a very, very long journey, which is why I'm passionate now about advocating for stroke and heart health.
Oh, we're so glad that you're okay. That's amazing. What a story.
All 3 of your stories, incredible. And for anyone listening, watching right now, what can any woman do right now to take immediate charge of their heart health?
Yeah, and I hope they're all inspired by the stories. Because you quoted some very, very important statistics which are shocking, but this is really what makes it personal. So they emphasized it for me. Know your family history. You got to know what you are genetically at risk for, and then you have the power through the American Heart Association's Life Essential 8 to really target all the different lifestyle factors, your cholesterol, your sugar, your blood pressure, things that you have control over. 80% of this is preventable. So every woman needs to go out there, know their numbers, and know what they can do to change their own lives and their loved ones.
Yeah, and like you said, we're always so used to taking care of others, but we can't do that if we don't take care of ourselves.
And advocate for yourself.
Right.
Yes. Thank you again, ladies, for being here.
Thank you
Thank you.
so much.
Thank you
all so
all.
much.
Thank you so much.
And for those of you watching at home, don't forget to grab something red to raise
That's
awareness
right.
here. Come on now, look at us.
All right, we'll be right back.